Kyle Thompson.
And you're listening to General Intellect Unit. Bonus episode. Woohoo!
Yes.
A little bit of a celebratory extra episode for our 1 year anniversary.
Yes, it's May Day in October.
Yeah. So we accidentally launched on Halloween 2017, and we figured this is maybe a good opportunity to do a kind of a State of the Union or a State of the Unit episode, just to kind of recap on the year a little bit, or I think more specifically to recap on the summer, because we had a bit of a slowdown over the summer, where scheduling was kind of difficult, to say the least.
Yeah,
it wasn't easy at all. But I suppose, like, we started off with the kind of over-ambitious goal of doing 2 episodes a month indefinitely, which really, really can't work.
Yeah. Yeah, the workload per episode is quite variable and sometimes can be very, very heavy.
Yeah.
So, given that we both work full-time jobs on top of this, 2 episodes a month all year round just didn't prove to be a sustainable way to run this show and to sort of structure our lives.
Yeah, deeply, deeply unsustainable. Specifically because of vacation time and various sort of disruptions. So we usually operated with a sort of 3 episode backlog, so we had a bit of leeway in that kind of scheduling, but it just turned out that over the summer there was too much stuff going on and things slipped, and we slowed down. Rather than taking an extended break, we slowed down to a pace of what was supposed to be 1 episode every 3 weeks, but then because of another kind of issue, slowed down to like 1 a month essentially for 3 or 4 episodes in a row. And that latter one was that, like, when we did the episode on accelerationism, we intended to pair it with a read of a book called Malign Velocities. But when it came time to record, we discovered that we just couldn't get a good episode out of it.
Oh, boy. That book is... I cannot recommend that book. Please don't read it. It's one of those things where we could have recorded an episode that was just us ranting about the book, but it didn't feel like that was on tone with the show, and also just wasn't really worth the energy to make a big rant. So I think we made the right call. Yeah.
We decided to not record the episode rather than record a bad one. So, I mean, it meant that there was less content over the summer, but I think it's the better decision because, it sets up a nice precedent as well that, like, we're more concerned with quality than quantity. But the plan for the year coming is we're going to try and do something like 20 episodes in a year from here on out, and that's going to be probably like 8 months where there's 2 episodes, and then 4 episodes or 4 months where there's 1 each, for a total of 20. So I'm thinking the once per month months will be something like December, March, maybe August and September, or something along those lines, depending on how scheduling goes. But the whole point of this, that we just want to make clear that. We're gonna try for a fairly regular schedule and to have some kind of regularity to it, even when it's going a bit slower.
I feel like it's perfectly reasonable to have an off season, and if that can be predictable for people listening to the show, then that's great. Yeah.
I think we're also maybe thinking early next year or early 2019. We're going to try to do a kind of a recap episode where we go back over the backlog and tie some threads together. So I think there's some interesting patterns that developed over the course of the show's run so far. And I particularly want to talk about, in that episode, I want to talk about, like, contrasting the stuff that was in All Watched Over by Machines of Loving Grace with the cybernetics stuff. Like, basically contrasting the American cybernetics and British cybernetics.
Right.
Because there's a bit of a conflict in there, and it'd be nice to tease those kind of things out. But anyway, that's the sort of stuff we'll cover in that episode. Just picking up threads.
Yeah, it'll be a nice survey of what we've done so far, and hopefully we'll also let the listeners pick out episodes they might want to go back and listen to if they haven't been with us the entire run of the show.
Yes, indeed, that'd be quite nice. Because I mean, there's a lot of content, right? Because the episodes tend to run pretty long, so like picking through that backlog has got to be kind of daunting.
Yeah, I mean, I know people love their podcasts, but it's something that really varies with your life schedule, right? Like, you know, for some times of the year or some periods of your life, you might be able to do big, long, multi-hour listen sessions if you've got a long commute or whatever. And sometimes it's more pick and choose, and I absolutely understand that.
Yeah, I think speaking of episode lengths and runtimes and such, I think we're probably going to try to do shorter episodes, or well, maybe not shorter in general, but like I think we've been pushing the limits a bit with the like almost 2-hour episodes, and then having like runs of multiples of those 2-hour episodes back to back. Because I've gotten feedback from people who are like honestly struggling to actually kind of consume the content, because it's daunting to like try to consume a 2-hour episode and have to do it over the course of 4 listens or whatever.
Yeah, that would be certainly ideal. And we'll have to work on getting some more discipline in our structuring of discussions.
Yeah. So, hopefully we'll be able to trim those down a bit without losing too much content. But yeah, anyway, that's where we are at the moment. We've been on the air for a year, and we really do appreciate all the sort of the attention from the listenership. Like, it's kind of amazing that like this took off at all. I was convinced that like we would drop this after a couple of months because it was just like 20 downloads per episode or something.
Yeah, well, hey, we're not Teen Vogue, but we're doing something to support the proletarian cause.
Yep. So yeah, thanks listeners. It's been really amazing, and particularly the patrons that give us a couple of pounds a month on Patreon, because that's really helped to kind of it's helped a little bit with motivation, you know, just like to definitely keep the thing going, and like just to cover expenses as well.
Yeah.
And like speaking of that, if you want to contribute to the show, patreon.com/General Intellect Unit. We're on Twitter, GI Unit Pod, Facebook, all that kind of crap. But yeah, it's been really wonderful, and we're looking forward to another good year.
This it definitely started as a passion project, and I think to a large extent it still is a passion project. But I think that just having, you know, just knowing that like people are listening, and that there's regularity to listenership, and that people care about the show, certainly gives me motivation beyond what I started the project with, right? Like sure. There's a new sort of motivation that's come online this year in terms of keeping things going, keeping things moving forward, as opposed to just kind of dumping a bunch of things I learned during my doctoral studies on the internet, you know?
No, it's good. So yeah, thanks again, listeners, and we'll be back in a couple of weeks with an actual episode.
Right.
Yep. Bye-bye.